because there's all this terrible stuff going on in Burma right now. And it's getting a little bit of news, but not much. And even relatively, people like me who are kind of interested in it don't know what's going on. So give us the background and run us through what is happening there.
Okay.
What's going on?
So when I was in Myanmar, there was democracy. The move had begun from dictatorship to democracy, and it was just slowly taking steps, which culminated in the 2015 election, which sort of was meant to, seal the deal. 5 years passed. Aung San Suu Kyi is still in government. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, February 1, the military tanks roll into the capital. And we saw that because there was, I don't know if you saw the girl doing her exercise video where she would film every day, and she's doing this and there's tanks behind her going to Parliament to take over, because it was the day that the winners of the election were supposed to take up their seats in Parliament. So that's not going to happen. And people came out to protest, like, what the fuck? Dressed up as superheroes, young people carrying placards. Like this young girl had a placard saying, "I don't want a dictatorship, I just want a boyfriend," and stuff like that. And it was, it was sort of like almost like a festival kind of atmosphere. And then the military didn't tolerate that for very long. They shut down the internet and they started shooting people. And to date, since February 1, almost 1,000 people have died, and 6,000 people have been arrested, and so many people have been tortured. And everyone who can leave leaves, and that includes foreign media. So the only newspaper left now is the state-run newspaper. And if you go onto the Myanmar Times website, it just turns black. And then there's a pop-up box that says, we've suspended operations for 3 months. And that was 7 months ago. And they've declared all newspapers illegal. So they've taken everything that they were doing. These military guys, like they said, "Oh, look, we're taking off our uniform and we're putting on parliamentary uniform, and like we're pro-democracy." But other people who are more knowledgeable than me believe that the origins of this is greed, really, that a more robust democracy would affect their economic interests, because the military owns so much of the country. And with more transparency, you might have people saying, no. But what's amazing is Aung San Suu Kyi had really not rocked the boat at all, to the point that, people were coming, especially Westerners, were becoming critical of her. So the military still had 25% of all parliamentary seats, like automatically, don't have to go in something stupid like an election. They just get them. And they sit there in their uniforms as well. And they have control of like all the important ministries. So they're still controlling funds, and they own heaps of drugs and guns and jade, all going into China, and illegal wildlife and stuff. But it was like they had a tantrum and couldn't handle it anymore. And so, but they said that they were launching a coup to restore democracy. So go figure that. But they just talk nonsense. And so it's all down really to probably a couple of people, but the main one is General Min Aung Hlaing. And he's just a despot. He was senior general of commander-in-chief, so really, really powerful. And he is just, he's not doing any of the fighting himself. He's tucked away in his, comfortable manner. But they're just not listening to the people. So the people are still protesting, not giving up. They started a civil disobedience movement. So the whole country's come to a standstill. COVID-19 may have infected half the population, which is just an insane number, and nothing is working, and it's really grim. Like the displacement and the, there we go. Stupid man. He is responsible for, he has so much blood on his hands. He's also responsible for the genocide of the Rohingya, and he should already have, Australia should have put sanctions on him then, and we didn't. And we still haven't put sanctions on Myanmar, even though the US and the UK and the EU have. So it's really upsetting. Like, the violence is grotesque, and the people really don't deserve this. And they had democracy for 10 years. So, like, for young people, they've had democracy half their lives, and they're just like, no, sorry, we'll have the democracy back. So it's just really people. And so now people have joined armed groups, like just normal people. So the chances of full-scale civil war is like quite high.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is this, and I'm going to relay a lot of information back quickly, and I need you to correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So Burma was under this military junta, this dictatorship. There was an election, and for 10 years, and Kai Su.
Aung San Suu Kyi. It's no one knows how to say it.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And of course I knew.
Just call her the lady, because that's what people used to call her.
Absolutely. Everybody calls her the lady. Yeah, I've seen in a lot of the
movie. Yeah.
So the lady, I haven't seen the movie, but I've read a lot. Anyway. But so the lady was running the place. Somewhat of a disappointment, apparently, to both the West, which to me is kind of like neither here nor there, but also more importantly to the people there. Is that the case?
No, the people love her and worship her.
Okay.
And adore her.
So she was doing a good job, but the Western media of the West was disappointed with it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Thank you. And again, I need. It's like, I don't know. The entire purpose of this discussion is like, you educate Matt, which isn't hard. Anyway, so she's in power. There's another election. I don't know who was going to win that or who was looking at winning that, but the junta kind of decided, no, it really doesn't matter. We're going to win it, and here's my tanks to prove it. Is that the case?
So Aung San Suu Kyi wins every election she stands in by landslide because the people love her and worship her. So the military have claimed that there was fraud and that it was incorrect, which is ridiculous because the votes have been very transparent and they still have no evidence. 7 months on, they've produced no evidence for this terrible election. So they have just overturned a gigantic loss to themselves because they seem to have no conscience.
Okay. So the lady was going to win this election again?
She won. No, she won.
Well, so she won the election?
The election was last year.
Okay. And the decision was made again. Pardon my phenomenal...
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's super complicated as well.
Yeah. So the lady was going to win the election? Oh, the lady won the election?
Won, yeah.
And the army went, no.
Yeah.
All right. And she was put under house arrest. That's correct?
Yep. She's gone back. She's already spent 15 years under house arrest, but she's
back
under house arrest.
Okay. Where is she now? Oh, she's back under house arrest. All right. All right. Well, they can't really kill her though, can they? I mean, that would probably...
That's interesting. A friend of mine said that they are behaving even worse than they did first time around when they were tyrants. And she had heard from someone in Myanmar that they might knock her off. But that's, I mean, I can't substantiate that. And I certainly wouldn't want, people feeling upset. But the level of depravity is such that it would not surprise me. They haven't killed her yet. But, all these years that, they could have. But my gosh, they've killed 1,000 other people.